The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
At first, we hit your gadgets with our state-of-the-art digitalized mobile studio with the debate on the road behind the wheels. Later, we launched our magnificent studios located on Plot 1A, Sewagude Close, Lukulinanganda, Machindye, Kampala, where we bring to you our must-watch shows like The Mighty Drive, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m., Hotline, Mondays, 7 p.m. As for legal matters, Twins at Bar, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Wednesdays, 6 p.m. is Afro-Caribbean Link, where we connect Africa with the Caribbean. Voltage on Thursdays, 7 p.m., featuring a youthful panel. Interface with Dr. Kiza Besije every Friday, 12 p.m. with his call to action against injustices. Snap Talk, Saturdays, 6 p.m. with the trio. A must-watch, The Political Dice, Sundays, 8 p.m. with the duo that never stammers, and so much more. Watch us live on all our social media platforms. We are The Alternative Digitalk. Real issues, real talk.
Hi, Rogers. Can I ask you something?
Shoot.
What does corruption mean?
Well, summarily, corruption is abuse of public power for personal gain or for the benefit of a group to which one owes allegiance. For example, when a public office is abused by an official accepting or soliciting a bribe. By the way, private people can be corrupt too, like bribing police officers to escape fines.
Okay. So exactly how does that concern me?
Well, do you pay taxes?
I guess, yeah. What does that have to do with this?
Everything. Because those taxes you pay are supposed to facilitate services you use, like water, electricity, roads construction, medicines in hospitals, name it.
Okay, that is much bigger than I thought. But it can be stopped, right?
Well, yes it can, although it may not be as easy as it sounds. And here is the reason why. Corruption roots are grounded in our country's social, political, economic, bureaucratic traditions and policies.
So, what has kept it going this long? I mean, why don't we stop it?
Well, the main reason why it has been here for so long is because institutions are weak, either as a result of poorly defined ethical standards of public service, weak administrative and financial systems, or ineffective watchdog agencies.
What can we do to stop it?
At a national level, we must focus on strengthening the independence and effectiveness of public institutions that fight corruption. At a personal level, we must commit to never giving a bribe.
I promise I'll never give a bribe.
Well, that's a great decision you have made. Me and you now have to spread this message to all our friends. If we all do our part, corruption will be no more.
This message is brought to you by Alternative Digitalk.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.
Good morning, Uganda. Welcome to this edition of the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. As you well know, every morning we have a conversation with Uganda, painting a picture of what is happening in the country. And of course, we try to find viable solutions to some of the things that are happening in this country. I told you that every time we have these conversations is to really have a better Uganda for this generation, but also for the generation that is yet to come. Last month, on the 31st of January 2025, the Supreme Court of the land, Uganda, decided that it is no longer legal to try civilians in the General Court Martial. And of course, they dubbed this particular court martial or court a disciplinary committee. And this particular decision that was made unanimously by the Supreme Court judges brought about over a couple of feedback here and there from various Ugandans, some celebrating this particular verdict, But others saying it is not really the best decision to make. In fact, the president of the land, President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, said this is a wrong decision. And during the Teresita celebrations, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, the CDF, that is the Chief of Defense Forces of this country, also reiterated or remarked on that particular case. In his words, he said this is unacceptable. The question today is the Supreme Court and is the Supreme Court decision something that we should, contempt or treat with contempt, or is it actually something that many Ugandans are actually really supporting? And why is it that the CDF and the president do not find it fit for civilians not to be tried in the General Court Martial? That and much more is what we're going to be talking about this morning. And today I have the Director, Defense Public Information, Acting Major General Felix Kulayigye. You can call him ideally the spokesperson of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, to touch base on these issues and much more. Good morning, sir, and it's always a privilege having you on Digitalk TV.
Thank you, and you're welcome to our headquarters.
Very good. It's very comfortable here at the headquarters, even starting from down. You can look at how beautiful it is. I also wanted to note that there is a National Referral Hospital that also looks nice. This is a very good place, sir. I'm humbled to be here too.
But the impression I'm getting, or the impression it gets from the talk of the judges, is as if we are monsters. So that you have come to the headquarters of monsters, I thought you would be shivering.
No, sir. It's really comfortable here.
Thank
Congratulations first. You are now Acting Major General Felix Kulayigye. How do you feel, sir?
The rank is nice, but comes with responsibilities. But two, the words that accompany the rank, excellent performance, was the words used by the CDF. In the military, to hear your boss say excellent, the score is between 95 and 100%. It's very humbling. To me, that's what matters. That yes, your efforts have not gone unrecognized. It's humbling enough.
Is this something you saw coming as you were joining the UPDF? Was it even UPDF at the time?
It was NRA.
Yeah, did you see yourself grow to such a level?
Every soldier hopes to become a general. Every soldier hopes to become a general. But suffice to tell you, when I joined, we trained 3,000 of us. Only 3 of us have made it to general.
Wow, 0.3%.
0.01%. But that's how God does his things. You may be working together, but your destinies may be different. And God for sure will make sure each one of you will reach his or her destiny at the right time.
Thank you. We're in a generation that likes to hope from a private, at least to maybe a major.
You can say that again. You can say that again. I've had people asking me, can I be a general without going for training? I consider that the worst joke I could find.
Okay, sir.
Because the military is about training, is about fighting. You must be ready for both.
Okay. Yeah.
But for me, it's a service I have rendered, and the promotion is calling me to, is a call on me to even serve more. It's no time of arrival. I go back to the boxer philosophy. Ever read Animal Farm?
Yes, please.
Boxer every day would say, I will work harder.
Yes.
That's my philosophy.
Okay, and Boxer really worked a lot.
Every day after prayer, that's what I say. I will work harder.
Okay. Do you think even some of your colleagues, Ndugus, do you think they have the same opportunity as you to be able to grow from that to becoming a great man such as yourself?
There is nothing special about me.
You are only the third of the 3,000. I'm showing you.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. It's what God destined for me. It has nothing to do with my origins. I'm a son of a peasant. May his soul rest in peace. I used to walk to school barefooted. When I went to boarding school, I would carry my suitcase on the head with a basin and a jerrycan. So my being a general now, it's not about where I come from. It's about God's plan and destiny for me. And purpose. And then two, what have I put in?
Why I ask you that is that I was with General Laiso one time and I also told her this, that there is a person who has served in the UPDF, even prior armies, who was on one rank, the rank of sergeant, for more than 25 years.
True.
So I was juxtaposing the opportunity that General Kulayigye has, also this particular individual, and there are many people that are like this person I'm talking about. So that person is the one I was asking, how can he grow? Do you think there is an opportunity really for all, an equitable opportunity for everybody?
Opportunities are there. Opportunities are there. Like I've told you, in all this, there's the hand of God. And unless you recognize that, you may end up being frustrated.
Okay.
When you see, for instance, the occasions those that were senior too passed me. I didn't lose hope. I didn't get angry. Many of us have that weakness. Why me? No.
Okay. Thank you so much. I'm still with General, Acting Major General Felix Kulayigye.
Don't break yourself, even if you call me Major General, it's not a sin.
Okay, yes. I'm still with General Felix Kulayigye. General, you celebrated 44 years recently as the UPDF, starting from where you came from up to now. Just paint a picture for us how Tarehe Sita Day was, the day itself, but also what it means today to the Uganda People's Defense Forces.
Like we do every year since 1996. We used to celebrate Tarehe Sita in the barracks. It was pure an army thing. And that's why, even on the calendar, it's not a public holiday. Up to 1996. But then we said, wait a minute. We have now been baptized Uganda People's Defense Forces. What makes us part of the people? Is it just the name? So, we have to go back and trace. We were named the People's Defense Forces because we come from the people, and if we are going to celebrate our birthday, we must go back to the mother, who are the people.
Yes, sir.
So we began now rotating the country, region by region. And so we have a whole week, first of all, before the 6th of February. And during this week, we start with the national launch, which we did here on 29th. Then we go to the region, we pick one particular district to host the regional launch. This time we had it in Sembabule on 30th. And then the following day, 31st, the district launches. And what were we doing there? We were launching Army Week activities, as we were calling them, the Defense Forces Week activities. These include medical services, up to surgery.
Yes.
For free.
Wow.
Eye care, dental care, antenatal, prenatal, HIV and AIDS counseling and testing, fumigation, all those. Then we even offer mother kits. Then we pick out the biggest medical facilities in every district to do surgery. I was elected last year, but one, when we delivered twins in, I think it was anyway, Kazo district, but we found an expectant mother and one of us delivered her twins.
Wow, as we were just moving around.
Yes, as we are doing these things. So it was quite gratifying. But two, something that this teaches us or made us learn, that we get to know the challenges our wananchi go through in accessing some of these essential social services. In addition to that, we distribute books to selected schools. We organize debates. And so we get to know what level of language and eloquence are these children being exposed to.
Yes.
Then we do minimal technical the construction work. Either build latrines, renovate health centers, renovate schools. I was happy this time around. My former primary school was at a 3-classroom block renovated from down all the way to the roof. So this is to say to the people, thank you for being with us. Because the army is like fish in water. The water are the people, we are the fish.
Exactly.
Fish can't survive without water.
How did you find the Wananchi? Were they receptive to you? Because there is a feeling that the Wananchi no longer affiliate or like to work with the UPDF itself. It's
actually, that's a misnomer.
Okay.
That's a misnomer. It's totally, and you see, again, you talked about politics. I'll come to it. Some people in this country are politically primitive.
How so?
They want to portray a picture that the government has lost it. And nobody associated with the government will be shunned.
Because that's the feeling.
That's the feeling, but the reality is different. We treated thousands of people. Last year in Usoga, there were hundreds of thousands who turned up. Every day, our hospital in Bombo, 80% of the people we treat in Bombo Hospital are civilians, not soldiers.
I've also received treatment from
Thank
there
you very
before.
much. Are those who are being shunned? Massacre. There was even an attempt to decampaign this week.
No, that there is a sentiment in the past when you used to go to do those outdoor activities, they would even join you, clean with you the streets.
Yes, they did. They did in the places we were cleaning. They did. People, you see, here's a free service. Who refused to come for it? And this is bewitched.
Okay.
People turn up. I've told you, there are some people who have a wishful thinking that people should be, we turn away from government. That's only in the urban areas.
It's not a
And
national.
until they get out of that delusion, they will continue losing elections because they concentrate in the wrong place.
Okay. One would say you set out to become a professional army from the NRA that you were to the Uganda People's Defense Forces that is constitutionally even mandated by the law of the land.
But even NRA was a professional.
How professional are you now, sir?
You see, what's a profession? Or who is a professional? Is that person trained for a purpose? On top of training,
Yes, sir.
he or she performs their duties as per the professional requirements. 3, do you have rules that govern you in your profession? You adhere to them. Unfortunately, many of you Ugandans are no longer doing that. Journalists, you are busy spreading rumors instead of giving information and education. Doctors shun away from your duties. Patients are dying because they are not paying them money. Now, that is a very serious matter. But for us, because you either perform according to your requirements or you lose your job. For us, we have no massaging of weaknesses. You misbehave in the public domain, we take you to court. And because of that, we have been able to maintain the discipline in this army that is world class. We have been able to perform where others have failed with the minimal resources.
Okay, first of all, the first question is, why do you still affiliate with the numbers that you were with in the bush then, RO, even up to today? You still have,
We are
why
the
don't
same
you have
army.
UPDF?
We are the same army. You said you're Karuhanga. If tomorrow I called you Kulayigye, will you change in character?
No.
Hey.
But one would say that they're still loyal to the person of Mr. Museveni, to individuals, to the commanders at that time, General Salim Saleh. One would say they're still loyal to those individuals.
The Baganda say atajjukira. if you can't recognize the contribution of your forefathers, you're a fool. If you don't respect the father of this army, then you don't know where you come from. If you can't respect the role of General Saleh in making what Uganda is today, then you don't know the left from your right. Some people out of mere malice would wish away this gentleman's contribution. Impossible. They have made their mark on the history of this country. Even those who will come 100 years from today, 1,000 years from today, will remember there existed two gentlemen who actually made what Uganda became for this period.
So you're saying we cannot alienate these individuals from the army itself?
No, I didn't say that. But you cannot alienate their contribution. You cannot ignore their contribution in building this army. You are praising us. Today we are across, by the way, the only army in the world, other than the US, that is able to operate from the Atlantic Ocean to the Indian Ocean at the same time is UPDF. Oh yes. We are in Equatorial Guinea, we are in Somalia.
I was even coming there. One say there's an individual who said you're spreading your bad manners in those particular communities.
Well, I think you should congratulate our bad manners, because wherever we are being praised. And I would love to know what those bad manners they are talking about.
That now this particular army has become, he used the word arms for sale, like they can just sell them out. That was one of the...
Actually, that's an insult to our integrity. We are not bought. We are not mercenaries. You have seen mercenaries failing in Congo.
Yeah, we saw them.
Yes. Mercenaries never win. They have temporary victory.
Okay.
But wherever we have been, we are a darling of the people who find there. That's not a mercenary mentality. In fact, that person telling you is sick, he needs treatment.
Okay.
The person who says that requires treatment from Botavika.
Okay. This army you're talking about, yes, has grown. It has a couple of departments. There's the Air Force, there's the Land Force, which shows tremendous growth.
Those are called services now.
Yes.
They are no longer department. The department is smaller. Now we have 4 services.
4 services.
Yes.
Let's start with this particular SFC, Special Forces Command. Some people argue that this particular entity is illegal. It's not mandated by the parliament of this country. How true is this?
Was NRA mandated by parliament in the first place?
No.
You know, at times I get amused. It's like somebody turning around and tell your mother, my mother, you are illegal. You are an illegal mother. Irrespective of how she conceived you, she is your legitimate mother. This army has been built from that illegal entity up to legal notice number 1 of 1986. You need to know, what does that legal notice number 1 do? It legalized what had taken place.
Exactly.
It included the what?
The NRA itself.
NRA.
Yes.
Now, NRA had a mandate, a responsibility to grow. Because we are not building for jobs, we are building to meet the requirements expected of us, protecting this country. And for us to do so, we have had to build different capabilities over time. I don't think when we were creating Air Force, the Army, the Parliament was involved.
But it accepted that you can have now a land force, you can have an air force. It did not accept that you are supposed to have an SFC.
Can I ask, when you are adding assets in your home, do you need permission?
If those assets are defense forces of the country, I think Parliament would need to know, doesn't
To do what? Parliament requires to budget for us, number 1. Number 2, to monitor the management of the defense forces, not to manage it. I was a member of parliament, you know. The responsibility of building the army lies with the commander-in-chief, with the minister of defense, with the commander of the force. The 3. They are the ones who build the army.
The Parliament
The
of the
special
land-
forces, the special forces command you're talking about existed within NRA as a presidential protection unit. I was a member of that force. Now, when it grows, you turn around and say, now, from today, since you have developed a beard, I must control you. I think we, at times, we misunderstand what democracy means. Growth does not mean that something new has emerged. So if we have built, by the way, at one point we had only one service, the land forces. The Air Force was simply a department, a directorate actually. It grew to become a service. The same way PPU grew into special forces. It became a brigade, from a brigade to a service. It's growth. Now you can't keep telling me somebody is going to determine, an outsider, how one should grow.
You say the public and the soldiers is like fish and water. And
Yes.
in this case, the parliament is me. It's saying it's the water, you are the fish. Don't you think you should
I agree,
respect
but
the voice of the people?
does the water actually know the metabolism of the fish? Does it know how the fish is made? Does the water actually know how the fish grows from a tadpole to the adult fish you and I enjoy? The Constitution requires Parliament to, I don't even superintend. It's like I said, to oversee. To oversee. Now, overseeing means you don't go into the intestines. What people want to do today is for them to determine even our deployments. I have had them ask those questions. That's an illegality.
Yeah.
I'm afraid that is lack of knowledge of what the army should be. And two, a profession is a profession. We allow the professionals to manage their affairs. Management and supervision is different. Parliament superintends or oversees medical services. Do we determine how doctors are taught? Do we determine how they are deployed? So why are they coming to the soldiers? The men and women who actually hold means of violence, one. Two, the men and women whose life is anytime I'm dying.
They are on the
I
line.
pray we respect each other. We respect Parliament. That's why they can chase us away and we go. Let them respect the way we are being managed.
Okay.
They are allowed to determine where we go in terms of deployment.
That's where I was going to even come.
Yes, in terms of deployment.
But do you even respect them enough to tell them that, or to ask their permission? Because the last time officially you asked was the deployment in Somalia. It was mandated by Parliament. Other deployments, really, have they been respected as the parliamentarians of the land?
The law allows the commander-in-chief to deploy in terms of emergencies and inform Parliament.
And inform, yes.
When you are going for war, you do not have the luxury of seeking parliamentary approval first, because now you are dealing with the national defense. And so he has, I think, a number of days within which
Yes.
to inform Parliament.
It's ours.
But peacetime deployment, we must. Yeah.
But have you respected them? Let's talk at the reality, because that's
Yes,
the
we have.
hypothesis.
I have given you just have to talk to Somalia. Yes. Now, when we went to rescue Ugandans in South Sudan, did we have the luxury to have first go to Parliament? People are dying, a genocide is unfolding. You want to seek parliamentary approval first?
Okay, I'm going to come back to the parliament approval, or parliament itself. Have you heard of the notion that there is an army that is special in the army here, that they are not equal enough? Some departments like the SFC, it has more support, more sophistication than the ordinary army. Have you heard of this narrative?
I've heard it, but I find it
How
as...
true is it?
That's bad talk. Why are they called special forces? Why are they called special forces?
They are special in nature.
They are special in terms of tasking, in terms of training. These are forces you can drop behind the enemy when they are few and they survive on their own. You expect them to have the ordinary SMG? Why don't we leave things we don't know to those who know them?
No, but it's actually good when you explain them, because now
Can
it
I
makes
ask?
sense when
Can I
you say
ask
that.
you? You guys admire Americans. Ever seen this discussion in the public domain? Or how the Green Berets are deployed or trained, how the Marines. Do you ever see that discussed in the public domain?
No.
Are you more sophisticated in understanding than the Americans? But you know, Ugandans, you know, this newfound freedom, at times I'm sorry, is being abused.
But every time we say that, sorry for interrupting you, sir, is that's the answer that we get.
But that's a fact. I've asked you.
What is the thin line between accountability?
The line is there. We account how we use the resources we allocated, because it's public money. 1, 2. We account for our men and women wherever we have gone. But for us to become and tell you how we have trained, where we have deployed them, why we have acquired this weapon and not the other one, no. No. And we are not alone in this region. Check in Tanzanian papers. Social media, name it. Check in the Kenyan. Do you discuss these things? Do you see them being discussed? So why here? So when I say this freedom has been abused, you say that's the response we are giving. We are coming from a very clear, what's the word, the legal word they use? A precedence. Yes, the precedences elsewhere are very clear, different. They have robust parliaments as well. But they don't discuss their armies. So we are forced to respond the way we are responding because we think some people are overstepping their mark. Yeah.
Okay.
I remember at one point they were asking the Minister of Defense to go with a list of generals.
Yeah.
Fortunately, I was in this office. I objected. I said, sir, the laws are very clear. You cannot. It's like you buying food in your home, and then you want to know how your wife is preparing it. I want to conclude the issue on the professionalization. When we did the defense review and reform in 2004, we promised the country that we were going to professionalize. Professionalization meant more training, meant more material, acquisition of better equipment, and of course making the EPDF more lethal. I'm not sure about that word, more lethal. Now, to be more lethal means you create capabilities that are not ordinary. Deploying in Juba, we did it in 4 days. It was the special forces that did it. 4 days.
And the Persians done.
That's not ordinary feat. Elsewhere they require minimum 2 weeks.
Yes.
Hey. But this is a third world country that was able to do that. At least give us a pat on the back for that.
In terms of the strength, you do because
yes, but you see, this strength,
you can see the strength.
This strength is built by visionary leadership that's dedicated to achieving that vision, that is patient enough to forego certain things that are necessary for comfort to build this capability. For over 30 decades, for over 3 decades, we are living in very poor conditions as soldiers because we understand a soldier is one who can fight and win wars, not the one who sleeps in comfort and goes to the mess to have a glass of whiskey. Yes.
Okay, General. Let's move into the decision that was made by the Supreme Court of
Right.
the land concerning the General Court Martial and its operations. Outrightly, the CDF is not happy about this particular decision. The President himself says this is a wrong decision. Why do you find the Supreme Court ruling a wrong decision?
First and foremost, the English have a saying, if it's not broken, why fix it? The General Court Martial has served this country for how many years?
Many years, more than 20.
Excuse me. Number two, we have been able to maintain a disciplined force, albeit with the minimal resources, yet with many challenges. Why? It's the discipline. Discipline based on our code of conduct, discipline enforced by our legal system. But two, on top of that, we have been able to maintain the state unshaken for 40 years almost now 39, because we were able to deal with errant elements within our society, both militarily and legally. Three, we have been shy about this, but let's put it succinctly. What's the history of our legal system in this country? It's against that history, which I will not delve into, that the court martial served as a better alternative in dealing with matters that threaten the state. Not civil matters, no. Matters that threaten the state. Because you see, when you have been comfortable for long, you forget that you have to stand at one day. And so the knees may ache you because you have been seated for long. We have been in stability for 39 years, and we forget that the state could easily be overthrown. And some people have not been sure about it. Now, when we deal with those to maintain this comfort you are enjoying, you see us as wrong, but you don't know what you have saved the country.
Okay. But I think the Supreme Court is not saying that you are ideally wrong, but they're saying the people who sit in that particular court do not have the skill to administer justice to the people that are there.
That's not correct. That court depends on the legal counsel of the judge advocate, who is a holder of an LLM. Not be a Bachelor of Laws, no. Masters of Laws. Tukachungurwa holds a Master of Laws. The prosecutor in that court is a lawyer, an advocate of the High Court. The defense counsel put there, of course, these are a panel of senior officers.
Yes.
Our method is similar to that of the legal system of the US, where you have assessors who advise the judge that is the chairman. But suffice to note, we took note of that criticism, and that is going to be corrected, because we have the lawyers anyway. Even before you came in, the man who was seated with me here is doing a PhD in law. He's a major of the army. We are not ordinary, as that singer said. We are not ordinary. The difference is that we are very humble. You slap us and we turn the other cheek. Because what happened in that court, allow me to tell you this. What happened in the Supreme Court? We were rolled in the mud.
But that's the role of the Supreme Court, to
advise. To roll us in the mud.
To advise and give you the legal knowledge of the decision and say, according to the knowledge we have as the supreme law of the land, we find this is not right. And because that's their job.
I wish that's the stating. You go pick some of the words they used. I told you that's throwing us in the mud.
Yeah, they said you're a disciplinary committee.
And it's not. Sure, that was an insult. We have a unit disciplinary committee that goes up to brigade from a division we have a court martial. And like I've told you, it's not out of luxury that we use the court martial. I've given you the cases. When I was part of the Committee of Defense and Internal Affairs, we visited prisons. You find somebody on remand for 9 years.
Yes.
Remand for 9 years. Is that justice? It is said justice delayed.
It's denied.
This Ugandan is in prison for 9 years on remand. And you want us to leave things that way.
Okay, then why would you charge...
No, please answer me. Is that okay?
No, it's not okay.
So when we have cases that are threatening the stability of the state and want them dealt with expeditiously, you think we are being anarchic? You call us a kangaroo court? You call us what? By the way, where is the Supreme Court in Somalia? Where is the Supreme Court in South Sudan?
Okay,
we are able to exercise our rights through the legal system because there exists a state.
yes, I get you, I understand you.
So when somebody threatens the state, I believe it should be the interest of every Ugandan to ensure that person is picked out of society and kept away.
You can do that with the normal courts, the High Court, the Court of Appeal.
I've asked you. The normal courts have failed you.
No, but
Today, allow
Please
me,
continue.
please inform you, young man.
Yes, sir.
Today you have issues of people doing mob justice over matters of land. You have families that have been evicted with court orders. Somebody's father was born on that land. He's being evicted on a court order. There is anarchy there. We are only quiet about it.
Okay.
Now, when we see those, we say, okay, we are not going to interfere with the civil matters. But where the state is threatened, we must do something about it.
You have tried Jamil Mukulu in normal civilian courts, someone who was a terrorist. But then you try Olivia Nalutaya in the General Court Martial. Where is that balance? How is it that you can allow Jamil Mukulu to go to a civil court, but then Olivia Nalutaya, or Bobby Young, who had a military beret, to the General Court Martial?
Be informed, no one was in the court martial for the colors of the berets. Did you ever hear of Vijambia in a massacre? What were they about? Were they thieves of fene and goats?
No.
Think again. Let's get the next question.
Okay. Because I still wanted an answer there, because if it's
I thought you have heard of the word called logic.
yes.
So you asked me a question. I asked you in relation to the individual you have mentioned, the individuals you have mentioned.
These people were incarcerated in 2020.
Yes.
The Vijambia were in 2021 after the election.
What are you talking about? You're talking of fellows who are involved in attacking policemen in the riots. Do you remember? By the way, are you aware that riots are one of the threats of state security?
Do you know that the charge wearing military fatigue?
No, that one, military fatigue was additional. That was additional. And then, by the way, if you don't want to be charged in the court martial, why do you pretend to be a soldier? When you put on military wear, what are you calling yourself? You even put on stars. Some which are green like these ones, by the way.
General.
Even the color, leave alone the stars, the pips. And I've asked you people, the things you do here, where else do you see them? Where? Why do you want to make abnormal things look normal? And society must be left to go that way. Lawlessness is the order of the day. If anybody is touched, you have no right to touch them. You emphasize rights over responsibilities. But chapter 4 of the Constitution talks about responsibilities as well. duties of a citizen.
Yes. Okay. Can't you just maybe, why is it a problem to just accept maybe a normal judge from the civilian courts to be at that particular...
I didn't know we are abnormal, but...
you are not a court.
I didn't know
right
we are
now, as you're
abnormal.
speaking, you're not a court.
Well, as per that ruling, of course...
Which is the one that governs the land, sir?
As per that ruling, we are not going to try them until the amendments are done in our law, which we are going to have to. But two, like I've told you, the matter of expedition in execution of justice is very important. And by the way, that's not the only area. Can I remind you?
Please do.
When we got an attack of Ebola, all doctors abandoned hospitals except Raskari
From
Kuya.
one doctor, yes.
Who handled the Ebola patients? It was us. Why didn't we declare us illegal?
Even in monkeypox, you're there.
Yes.
Even in
Why
COVID,
didn't you
you're
declare us illegal? And when they were rewarding doctors, none from the EPDF was rewarded. Don't think we're keeping quiet, we are being foolish. We see the injustice you do on us, and we go on because we volunteer to serve the country.
Okay. Do you respect us? Because why are you not implementing the decisions or the resolutions that were made by the Supreme Court?
Where they were implemented was basically brought to court on Monday. He was supposed to appear in the court. Did he appear?
No.
Yeah, we respected it. And if as you find it, we respected it because we are law-abiding.
He's not yet charged in a civilian court.
You think, I think the Minister of Justice told you in Parliament. And he's not a soldier, is he?
No.
Yes. You don't just fling the gates of prison and everybody runs out because the Supreme Court has ruled. There is a procedure. By the way, for anybody to get out of prison, there must be a court order. I hope you are aware. Yes, and there is no court order as yet to that effect.
Okay.
Should I be reminding his lawyers?
They already filed for habeas corpus as we speak, at least.
That's not
For you people to take him to...
And he's not in our hands. He's in Luzira prison. I didn't know you didn't know.
Yeah, I know.
Yes, and Luzira is not manned by the army. Is it?
It is not manned by the army.
Thank you.
I hope it's not influenced by the army as well.
It's an independent arm of government.
Okay.
Yeah.
The other question is, what does this bring? You talked about precedents when a CDF openly disagrees with the Supreme Court, even the commander-in-chief, former general and soldier, openly saying that we do not really, this is a wrong decision. What do you think about that, sir?
It's expression of our dissatisfaction. And I think we have the right to express our feelings, don't we? I've seen lawyers on the street saying this was wrong, referring to a judgment. How come you don't take them on? Our being in uniform makes us targets? Yes, we are. But please, we have also feelings.
But now,
and I've all labored. All this time I've been laboring to show you why we think it was a wrong decision. That is, you already have preconceived judgment about what was said. So getting you from there is a tug of war.
okay, but also the words that are spoken.
You see, I want to disabuse you
Yes, sir.
of mindset. You are dealing with human beings. We are not animals. We may be ready to die any time for the country, but that doesn't mean we have no feelings. And so when a decision is taken against us that we feel it was not correct, and it is the Supreme Court who have no elsewhere to appeal other than the public court, and we can't do that because that is anarchy. We have accepted the ruling, but we are suffering internally. Can I say suffering locally?
Funny. But the choice of words, General, really matter. I've heard your CDF one time refer to the parliament as clowns, and he says he cannot even...
But he has given his opinion of those, he's called them musings, didn't they? Didn't he rather? Yes. Now you want to discuss somebody's way of communicating.
No, he's not somebody, sir.
No,
this is
listen,
the chief of defense
he
forces.
Is. But he
when
told
he tells a parliament that has called him that they are clowns, what does that mean, sir?
That, ask him, that is his own way. It isn't. It wasn't in a military message. Neither do I have a brief from him to that effect.
Okay, but do you want to...
And I've told you, he has been on record to say, these are my musings. I can't discuss those. Please, save your time and mine.
Yeah, okay, but the viewers there would... Because this person holds power, sir. When you hear him make such statements...
Be confident he is not misusing that power. Stay yourself.
Okay, but you also say that no civilian will rule this country before...
Personal views.
Okay, no problem. Let's, as we conclude...
And I want to warn you, many people have that feeling. If you didn't know, many people out there have such a feelings.
Should I take that as a threat, sir?
No. No. It's an assessment. You may wish to examine many of the leaders you have out here. And it's in your interest because you're a young man. In a country where you have a political party without a manifesto, contains for elections, and 3-point-something million people vote for that party, you have a problem. As a country, you have a problem.
Yeah, but that's our problem. That's our choice as Ugandans.
And you think?
Aren't we allowed to...
And you think we should keep quiet when there's a problem? Or should tell you? Or we are not allowed to speak as well. So Ugandans, please bring a salt tape and put here.
No, we're not trying to...
Because, no, I'm being honest to you, by the way.
No,
On a serious note.
Respecting Ugandans' decision, even if it looks as unintelligent as it can be, I believe, and they're allowed to make their decisions or make their mistake.
Did I say they are not allowed? I'm only expressing a worry. Or even that I'm not allowed.
No, you're allowed, sir.
I'm
At least
expressing
you're
a
allowed to
worry.
speak.
That as I'm aging, you are living a country that does not appreciate what they call a contract in leadership. Because a manifesto is the contract between the candidate and the voter. Now you have voters who are entrusting their mandate for 5 years to someone who has no contract with them. Hallelujah.
Now, if the UPDF spokesperson also has such a sentiment, it looks like it's a representative of the whole.
The truth is, many of us, in my age bracket at least, both within the military and outside, worry about the standard of judgment that young men have.
If Kyagulanyi is president tomorrow, would you salute him?
If he's elected, yes, why not? Why should I reject your decision? Your step to elect Kyagulanyi is yours. Just like the Ukrainians voted a comedian.
Okay.
The rest is history.
Yeah, the comedian is still fighting the whole up to now, but it's still history, as you say. So lastly, there was an East African SADC summit that happened on Saturday last week in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania. What do you think about the deliberations that went there in terms of solving the question or the crisis that is in Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, sir?
Well, their decisions are not different from our position as a country. If you may recall, we have always advocated for dialogue in that conflict. That's why even we deployed our force in the East African Regional Intervention Force. We believe there should be a political dialogue because there are issues to be dealt with. And so we support the decisions reached by our leaders.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a feeling that the people who are there cannot really take the entire decision. You needed more individuals in terms of the M23 itself and the fighters on ground.
Now you're pushing me to judge my commander in chief and his colleagues, I want.
Okay. So
because I think also the leaders are basing on what they know, much of which is above what I know. Yeah.
okay. But do you think with this meeting there can be change in that particular country?
Change in Congo or any other country with conflict is dependent on both the goodwill people and the citizens. But the primary individuals, the primary actors are the citizens of the country. The rest of us are only supportive.
Okay.
We have been able to succeed in Somalia because we went with that attitude. We are coming to help you. The decision is to be made by you. Until that level is reached, that level of understanding is reached, we shall take a long time. Yeah.
Okay. Then I have a couple of questions just for some of our viewers that they asked that I should ask you, sir. That why do you recruit before elections? I think according to this viewer, when he looks at the patterns of UPDF recruitments, they always come, especially around the election period.
His memory has failed him.
Okay.
Or her.
Mm-hmm.
Every year we have been recruiting. You are not aware? Every year we have been recruiting.
Okay.
And this is telling us we should stop recruiting because elections are around the corner. Yes, and the country is not
So
managed
this
that
is
way.
something annual, really.
It's annual.
Okay.
Again, God help Uganda. I mean, somebody is only bent on looking at the politics.
Yeah.
But life is not about politics alone.
We can tell him that the UPDF is building roads as well.
We are building roads.
So it's none. Okay, the other one.
We are treating people, I've told you. Yes. Every time with an epidemic, we are the ones involved. When we were dealing with the locusts, we had a floating island blocking the turbines in Jinja. We are the ones who unblocked it. We were dealing at the same time with some other emergencies. That's building capacity.
So life is not about politics
It's not about politics alone. Politics is about, of course, who gets what and when. But it's about leadership, most importantly.
Okay. This one wanted you to comment on the state of military or army schools in the country. I think he believes that there is a bit of challenges there. Do you want to highlight on the army schools?
The physical infrastructure certainly needs improvement.
Okay.
It's what I told you about the meager resources we have. The Swahili say kupanga ni kuchagua. If you are planning, you must choose priorities among priorities.
Okay.
Yes, our schools are not, just like the barracks where they are not very modern. We have to concentrate on what you think is our priorities. Then we address the schools as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
But are there teachers, because according to this person, I think there are not some teachers in some of these schools.
What? Then he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Okay.
Tell me where there is a shortage, I also go and teach because I'm a professional teacher.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you so much, sir. As we conclude, what is your message, really? In terms of the roadmap for 2025, we are entering an electoral year, and every time we're in the electoral process, the situation is a bit volatile in this country. So what is your roadmap in terms of the 2025 year?
I'm going to speak both as the Director of Defense Public Information, and then I will speak as Kulayigye, an elder in this country.
Yes, sir.
We are going for elections. Elections are periods for choosing leaders, not life and death. So let's engage in the politics with maturity. Respect each other, respect the law. Because Uganda must be there even 200 years from today. It can't end with the politicians of today. So once you respect the law, you respect each other, I'm sure there will be no friction. Okay. 2, therefore, for us, we do what Sonzo says. I think it's Lao Zu who said in 500 BC that the best posture is not to imagine the enemy will not come, but to be ready for him. Whereas we believe every Ugandan is peace-loving, we must be prepared for those who don't want peace. So, as the UPDF, we are ready to support the police in election security. Our role is supportive, we are not the main. Because even if you deployed up to the Inspector General of Police, the police is not enough. So we shall have to augment or supplement their work. Okay. Now, as a senior citizen, I need to advise You know, first and foremost, every citizen should go and vote. You have a duty to determine your leaders as a citizen. I use the word should, not must. And two, when you are voting, think about the next 5 years. Not now. The mistake many of us do, we look only here.
There is a sentiment that this election is already done and dusted.
I'm not so sure. Then why are we wasting resources? Why you mean I should not go to the polling center on the voting day?
You can.
That you are advising me?
No, I'm not advising
And
you.
I will not allow accept
but I'm
that.
telling you what
I will not accept that disinformation.
That as you're casting that vote, it really isn't going to change anything, especially when it comes to president.
No, it's because, you see, again, I mentioned it before. It's because you put your emphasis in the wrong place. Yes. You put your emphasis in the wrong place. Gentlemen and ladies, this country is not about urban areas of Kampala and Jinja and Masaka. It includes people in Kabong, people in Amuria, people in Koboku. They also vote. Now, when you don't have representation from those areas and you expect to win them, Santa Maria.
You cannot.
You can't. Simple logic, which has eluded many of you either deliberately or out of ignorance. But the point I was making, and you diverted me, I hope not deliberately, there are people who vote thinking the matters have ended. Your future for the next 5 years depends on the person you have voted that day. So don't just vote. A person should be equal to the task. And lastly, a person who comes with the money to influence you is empty. A person who advocates tribal differences is empty. Because we need each other.
Exactly.
When I work with people here, I never ask them where they are born in terms of their tribe. I even don't know. I don't know their tribes, I don't know their religion. Because it's none of my business.
Exactly.
So anybody who comes with tribal sentiments is misleading us. Because I can tell you, no single tribe can make government on its own.
Exactly.
I rest my case.
Okay, thank you so much, General Felix Kulayigye. Let this be on record that General has not commented on the statements of the CDF. He said those are his misusings. Though the CDF
not misusings, musings.
Musings, okay.
That's what he called them.
Okay,
Good, please go to his
exactly.
X account.
So
he called them my musings. Now,
so
if he
I think
says my musings,
when he says that we shall hang Vestige, those are all musings. Let's just take them as musings, really. Thank you so much. I was with the Director of Defense Public Information right here in Mbuya. That is General Felix Kulayigye. And it's always a privilege having you on
where
the show.
monsters don't eat you.
Yeah, they don't. They don't. So really, it's a comfortable. And we want to commend you for serving the nation as an individual, but also the Uganda People's Defense Forces, because even when they are skeletons somewhere, it's really the role of the army to defend Ugandans. It's the UPDF that makes sure Ugandans continue to sleep. A narrative that was started in '86 that Uganda now sleeps. So Uganda continues.
You use the word skeletons and I let you go? No. Surely you better tell me what those skeletons
It's
are.
a figure of speech.
I know, but which are those skeletons? It is figurative, I understand. So figurative as it is, what are those skeletons? So that we get them out of the wardrobe as well.
When I ask you, General, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in on Digital TV. We shall see you again tomorrow at exactly. You want me to answer your skeletons, General? Yeah, we have 19th and 19th November deaths that happen in this country. Justice for those people. We still advocate for it.
They are not skeletons because the commander-in-chief himself has apologized.
Yeah, apology is not enough. I thought there should be someone to show Ugandans that this was behind these people for justice for these
Some
families.
of the individuals that were apprehended were tried before that very court martial. We have been ridiculing. Yes.
Okay.
And in the best of my knowledge, civility requires if somebody says I am sorry, the matter rests.
The same statement you said last time. Thank you so much, Ugandans, for tuning in. We shall see you again tomorrow at exactly 8 a.m. Do not miss the Mighty Drive Show. My name is Edgar Matthew Karuhanga. I am with Director Public Information, Defense Public Information right here. That is General Felix Kulayigye. From the entire team, see you again, same time, same station. Good morning, Uganda.
Hey Teddy, have you noticed how little attention science and health issues get in the media?
Totally. Edgar, yet science information is very important.
Yeah, for sure. That's why the Health Journalists Network is here.
How can they help?
They are a group of journalists dedicated to advancing public understanding of healthcare issues through impactful reporting on health and science.
Oh, really?
Yes, they meet up every month with scientists and researchers, policymakers, and activists at the science media cafes. They then relay what they discuss to the public.
Does that benefit us?
Oh yes, very much so. This helps with health and science literacy for a healthy Ugandan society.
Okay. I love getting informed about science and health issues. Health information makes all the difference between life and death. I'll look them up and engage them.
That's great. They are based all over the country.
Oh, okay. That's interesting, and they should be making real impact.
They are empowering health communities through journalism. Journalists can save lives just like doctors.
The Alternative Dig Talk. Real issues, real talk.